Things have not gone according to plan, but nonetheless, what did they want? What did they actually think was going?
You might remember that time when Sophie scared the shit out of Meghan with just...
There is a lethal, undeniable elegance to the way the British royal family dismantles a threat. They do not yell, they do not hire aggressive Hollywood PR firms, and they certainly do not sit on billionaire talk show couches to air their grievances. Instead, they rely on the quiet, devastating power of understatement. For years, Meghan Markle's narrative relied on the assumption that the Duchess of Edinburgh was simply a background player, a quiet, unremarkable royal who posed no threat to the blinding megawatt glow of the Sussex brand. But Sophie is not a background player. She is the crown's quiet assassin, and with just 8 perfectly delivered words, she has completely incinerated the foundational myth of the Montecito machine. We arrive at the first phase of the viral collapse, the 8-word execution. The Sussex PR strategy has always rested on a single, arrogant premise that Harry and Meghan were the absolute backbone of the modern monarchy, and that their departure left the institution scrambling, exhausted, and desperately trying to fill the void. The media, playing into this narrative, asked Sophie if she and Prince Edward felt pressured to step up now that the Sussexes had abandoned their posts. Sophie did not express sadness. She did not play the victim. She simply offered a savage, smiling reality check that has now set the internet absolutely ablaze. What did people think we were doing beforehand? It is brutal in its simplicity. With a single sentence, Sophie publicly reduced the Sussexes' historic royal workload to a mere footnote. She exposed the delusion that Meghan was carrying the royal family, reminding the world that the true, grinding work of the monarchy has always been done by those who don't demand a Netflix camera crew to document it.
Royal secret weapon. I think secret weapon is an excellent way to put it, because a lot of our viewers may not be as familiar.
She's tense. She's got also her jaw tense at that moment.
Let us go inside the $14 million Montecito compound to witness the fallout. The California sun is blinding outside, but the house is a freezing, isolated tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and entirely deafening. In a fortress built on the relentless preaching of their own irreplaceable importance, there is absolutely no power left. There is only the suffocating quiet of a PR command center that has just been brutally outplayed by the sister-in-law they allegedly underestimated. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline, and the entire estate is drenched in it. Prince Harry is pacing the length of his cavernous study, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He listens to Sophie's quote going viral across every social media platform, and the terrifying reality of his irrelevance finally crushes him. He traded the impenetrable armor of his birthright for a desperate Hollywood hustle, convincing himself the palace couldn't survive without him. Now, he realizes the men in gray suits didn't even blink when he left. They simply let the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh continue doing the real work. He is a depreciated asset, completely stripped of his royal leverage. Realizing his absence wasn't a tragedy for the crown, it was a relief. Down the hall in the war room, Meghan is not weeping. She is never sad. She is a cornered apex predator, operating with chilling surgical precision. She relies on dominating the narrative to survive, but the cold, hard, unyielding reality of Sophie's viral popularity leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. You cannot merchandise authentic royal victimhood when a senior working royal politely points out that you were never the main character to begin at draft.
It was something that Sophie knew only too well. Although she was never likely to be queen, she was the daughter of a tyre salesman.
Appreciate each and every single body language interaction. We have to dig deeper to understand
A response about our global impact. She dictates to her scrambling, panicked legal team over an encrypted line. Her voice metallic and entirely flat. We claim we modernized the institution. We deploy the bot farms to attack Sophie's work ethic. We must remind the sponsors we are the stars, but she is negotiating with ghosts. The sponsors are watching the viral clip, and they are doing the math. The public doesn't want Hollywood spin. They are utterly captivated by the savage authenticity of the quiet royal who finally spoke up across the ocean. Prince William, the enforcer, stands in the quiet, historic authority of the palace. He watches the Montecito simulation violently crash. The crown did not have to issue a statement or wage a briefing war. They simply let Sophie's unparalleled work ethic speak for itself. The men in gray suits never issue empty threats. They operate with silent, devastating finality. The palace perimeter is locked, and the spectacular unraveling of the Sussex ego has only just begun. The exposure moves from the quiet dismissal of the Sussex workload directly to the absolute, humiliating erasure of their greatest media weapon. If the first quote was a reality check, the second was a calculated, devastating airstrike on the very foundation of the Montecito empire. For years, the Sussexes have wielded the Oprah Winfrey interview as their ultimate sorta, globally televised moment of victimhood they believed made them untouchable. They assumed the royal family was cowering in the aftermath of their truth bombs, but the Duchess of Edinburgh did not cower. When asked by the press about the explosive Oprah interview, Sophie and Prince Edward offered a response. So effortlessly savage, it permanently broke the Sussex internet strategy. Edward smiled, Sophie laughed, and they simply replied, "Oprah who?" Followed by, "Yes, what interview?" We arrive at the second phase of the viral collapse, the two-word demolition.
I am not a fan, I've told you many times, I'm not a fan of analyzing pictures, but this is the kind of pictures that tell out.
It's just that there are more relaxed moments before and after the commemoration begins.
With those words, Sophie did not just dismiss a television segment, she stripped the Montecito machine of its power. The Sussex strategy relies entirely on being taken seriously. They need the world and the palace to be outraged, devastated, and constantly reacting to their grievances. By laughing it off, Sophie deployed the one weapon Meghan Markle's PR team has absolutely no defense against: total, unbothered apathy. Sophie turned their billion-dollar Hollywood grievance campaign into a punchline. She exposed the terrifying reality that while the Sussexes were busy trying to destroy the institution on global television, the institution wasn't even watching. Let us return to the $14 million Montecito compound. The California sun cannot penetrate the psychological winter of this estate. The house is a freezing tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and entirely deafening. There are no sounds of a vibrant family. There is only the terrifying quiet of a brand whose biggest, most expensive PR weapon has just been casually swatted away like a minor nuisance. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline. And tonight, the match is burning down to the fingers. Prince Harry sits in the dark of his cavernous study, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He listens to the Oprah who? A UDO clip looping on social media, and the horrifying realization finally crushes him. He burned every bridge with his family, alienated his brother, and betrayed his grandmother's trust, all for an interview he thought would change the world. Now, he realizes his own family considers it so utterly irrelevant they use it as a punchline at official engagements. He is a depreciated asset, a former prince of the realm reduced to an internet meme.
Says otherwise. Look at that, Joe. Sophie is not. Yeah, she is mad at Meghan, and well, Sophie is ready to punch her. Yeah, I agree.
Furiously trying to remain relevant to an institution that has already forgotten his greatest grievance. In the war room, Meghan is wide awake. She is never sad. She operates with chilling surgical precision. She relies on commanding the spotlight to survive, but the public, forensic dissection of Sophie's dismissal leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. You cannot demand an apology from an institution that is laughing at your attempt to destroy it. Leak that we were disgusted by their lack of compassion. She dictates to her scrambling PR team over an encrypted line, her voice completely flat. Spin it as toxic royal arrogance. We must make the laughter seem cruel. Deploy the victim narrative again. But she is negotiating with ghosts. The public is exhausted by the victim. They see Sophie's laughter not as cruelty, but as the incredibly authentic reaction of a family entirely fed up with a toddler's tantrum. The spin is completely dead on arrival. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, receives the intelligence reports. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The men in gray suits never issued a formal rebuttal to Oprah. They simply let Sophie and Edward deliver the lethal blow with a smile. The palace watches the Hollywood cannibalization happen in real time, knowing that an ego starved of attention eventually collapses under its own weight. The exposure accelerates from the verbal demolition directly into the terrifying reality of institutional replacement. in the ruthless, historic machinery of the British monarchy. There is a fate far worse than being hated. It is being entirely, effortlessly replaced. For years,
that is somebody who is actually having a good time and isn't hard up for a bit of cash.
The Montecito PR narrative insisted that Meghan Markle brought an irreplaceable star power to the dusty, antiquated corridors of Buckingham Palace. They threatened that, without her Hollywood glow, the institution would wither. But the crown did not wither. It simply elevated the Duchess of Edinburgh. And this is the exact moment the Montecito simulation officially snaps. We arrive at the third phase of the viral collapse, the institutional erasure and the patronage replacement. Sophie did not just brush off the Sussexes with a brilliant, viral soundbite. She stepped directly into the void they left behind and completely outshone them. King Charles and Prince William didn't panic when the Sussexes fled. They quietly handed the most critical, sensitive royal patronages to Sophie. She has become the crown's most reliable, uncomplaining diplomat. She handles grueling international tours without a Netflix crew. She champions victims of conflict without demanding an award for it. And she commands the absolute, unwavering respect of the British public. The viral contrast is savage. While Meghan is paying PR firms to secure meaningless Hollywood red carpets, Sophie is quietly representing the king on the global stage. Sophie has proven the ultimate, devastating truth that destroys the Sussex brand. True royal power is not about being a celebrity. It is about duty. Let us step back inside the $14 million Montecito fortress. It is high noon, but the California sun cannot pierce the psychological winter of this estate. The house is a freezing tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and entirely deafening. There are no sounds of a vibrant family. There is only the terrifying quiet of a brand whose deepest, most narcissistic fear has just been realized. They were never irreplaceable. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline, and the match is burning down to the fingers. Prince Harry is standing by the massive bay windows, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He watches the footage of Sophie being cheered by crowds, carrying out the exact high-level royal duties he and his wife abandoned. The sheer, unadulterated panic sets in. The recruitment operation he fell for convinced him that they were the main attraction, the modern saviors of a dying empire.
That's right, Charles offered Harry some digs. Who to believe? Making sense of it all, tonight's newsmaker.
What did they want? What did they actually think was going to happen? It has since become popular belief that
Instead, he realizes they were merely a brief, chaotic headache that the men in gray suits have completely cured. He is a depreciated asset, entirely stripped of his royal utility, facing the agonizing reality that his own Antonella has effortlessly taken the crown he threw in the mud. In the war room, Meghan has finally snapped. She is pacing. She operates with chilling surgical precision, but the cracks are visibly shattering the facade. She relies on commanding the spotlight to survive, but the hard broadcasted reality of Sophie's soaring popularity and effortless grace leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. You cannot PR your way out of being outworked by a woman who doesn't even have an Instagram account. We pivot to feminist outrage. She dictates to her rapidly shrinking crisis team over an encrypted line, her voice metallic and laced with a terrifying edge. We leak a narrative that the palace is pitting women against each other. We call it institutional misogyny. We demand recognition for our modernization efforts. Drown her headlines with our new branding, but she is negotiating with ghosts. The public is not buying the victim. They see a Hollywood grifter furious that a genuine, hardworking royal is receiving the accolades she so desperately craves across the ocean. Prince William, the enforcer, monitors the global fallout. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The palace recognizes the supreme brilliance of their strategy. They defeated the Sussex PR machine by simply doing the job. The men in gray suits are watching the Montecito fortress rapidly collapse from the inside out, completely paralyzed by the unstoppable, viral rise of the quiet assassin. The exposure accelerates from institutional replacement directly into the unforgiving, hypercritical arena of global public perception. In the desperate scramble for relevance, the Sussex PR machine has spent millions trying to manufacture what the Duchess of Edinburgh possesses entirely by accident: absolute. unforced authenticity. As Sophie's savage, understated comments continue to dominate the global news cycle, they expose the ultimate, fatal flaw in the Montecito branding. We arrive at the fourth phase of the viral collapse, the authenticity deficit and the Hollywood humiliation. While the Sussexes orchestrate highly controlled, heavily edited four-royal tours, demanding motorcades and red carpets, in an attempt to look important, Sophie is photographed sitting on the floor of a community center, laughing genuinely, completely unbothered by the lack of a Netflix camera crew. The viral contrast is a bloodbath for the Sussex brand. Sophie's casual, 8-word dismissal of the Meghan drama resonated so deeply because the public recognizes truth when they hear it. She exposed the Montecito operation for what it is, a highly produced, deeply insecure Hollywood reality show masquerading as humanitarian royalty. Let us go back inside the $14 million Montecito compound. It is dusk. A suffocating heavy marine layer has swallowed the fortress, turning it into an isolated tomb. The silence is absolute, predatory, and entirely deafening. There are no sounds of a vibrant family life. There is only the suffocating quiet of a PR command center whose entire multi-million-dollar facade has just been shattered by the effortless grace of the sister-in-law they thought they left.
She can, grabbing her hand, like protecting her hand, and this right here, like protecting people's intentions. And
behind, silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline. And tonight, the flames are licking the very walls of the estate. Prince Harry is wandering the empty cavernous corridors, completely hollowed out. He is broken. He listens to the Hollywood executives quietly pulling their support, their calls going straight to voicemail. The terrifying reality of his situation locks into place. He realizes he traded the profound, unspoken respect of his homeland for a shallow, transactional celebrity ecosystem that abandons you the second you become a global punchline. The recruitment operation he fell for convinced him he was upgrading his life. Instead, he realizes he is staring directly into the abyss of total Hollywood humiliation, completely eclipsed by the quiet dedication of his own family. He is a depreciated asset, anchored to a brand that has completely run out of authenticity. In the war room, Meghan is wide awake. She is never sad. She is an apex predator, cornered by her own hubris, operating with chilling surgical precision. But the frenzy is impossible to hide. She relies on commanding the narrative to survive, but the hard, unyielding reality of a global audience actively choosing Sophie's quiet dignity over her own manufactured victimhood leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. You cannot buy authenticity, and you cannot PR your way out of a viral humiliation. We need a paparazzi walk immediately, she dictates to her panicked, rapidly shrinking PR team over an encrypted line, her voice metallic and entirely flat. Call the photographers.
feelings. And well, we back to this one.
Really comes off like someone saying they're done with drama while still blasting their voice through a
navigated an almost impossible path to become among the most trusted members of the firm. And what lessons other royals?
We go to a farmer's market. We project relatability. We laugh for the cameras. We must overpower her viral moment with our own. She is attempting to manufacture joy out of sheer panic. But she is negotiating with ghosts. The public has seen the wizard behind the curtain. A staged parking lot photo. Op cannot compete with the undeniable power of a working royal actually serving her country across the ocean. Prince William, the enforcer, watches the broadcast conclude its fourth segment. He is cold. He is surgical. He is final. The crown is not interfering because they don't have to. The men in gray suits have always known that the camera captures the truth eventually. The institutional perimeter is permanently sealed, and the Hollywood contagion is rapidly destroying what little credibility the Sussexes had left. The exposure reaches its absolute, devastating terminus. The Duchess of Edinburgh did not merely win a fleeting news cycle, she fundamentally and permanently rewrote the historical narrative of the Megxit era. With quiet laughter and savage understatement, Sophie drove a stake directly through the heart of the Sussex myth. She proved that the monarchy was never in danger of collapsing without Meghan Markle. It was simply waiting for the noise to stop so the real work could continue. We arrive at the final reckoning, the final eclipse and the ultimate coronation of duty, the global media. Landscape has instantly registered this seismic shift.
See Harry, Meghan, Edward, and Sophie sitting on the second row, and William and Catherine sitting on the front row.
The tabloids, the royal commentators, and the digital audience realize that the Montecito fortress has been entirely outflanked. The Sussexes spent 5 years and millions of dollars trying to convince the world they were the undisputed stars of the royal drama. Sophie, without spending a dime on PR, proved they were merely a brief, exhausting interruption. The era of the Sussex grievance is completely, irrevocably dead, replaced by the viral, undeniable triumph of quiet duty. Let us step inside the $14 million Montecito tomb one last time. It is dawn. The suffocating heavy marine layer is finally burning off, exposing the fortress to the harsh, unforgiving light of reality. Inside the house is a freezing void. The silence is absolute, predatory, and deafening. There are no sounds of a thriving, vibrant family preparing to take on the world. There is only the chilling, unnatural quiet of a stage set right before the curtain drops forever, revealing the staggering irrelevance underneath. Silence isn't innocence. It is gasoline, and the entire operation has just gone up in a spectacular, globally televised blaze. Prince Harry stands by the massive bay windows, looking out at the California horizon, completely hollowed out. He is broken. The terrifying reality of his total eclipse finally shatters his last remaining delusion. He looks at his own isolation and realizes the supreme crushing irony of his exile. He abandoned his country, his duty, and his family, believing his wife's Hollywood machinery could outshine a 1,000-year-old crown. Instead, his entire billion-dollar rebellion was entirely dismantled by a single, smiling sentence from his aunt. He is a depreciated asset, completely stripped of his royal aura, trapped in a house built on grievances that the world is actively laughing at. He traded the unquestioning, lifelong prestige of the monarchy for a Hollywood bluff that has just spectacularly expired in the war room. Meghan stands amidst the shredded remains of her 5-year global strategy. She is a cornered predator. She is never sad. She operates with chilling, surgical precision, desperately searching for a new narrative. She relies on commanding the spotlight to survive. But the undeniable, broadcasted reality of her total eclipse leaves her with absolutely no shadows to hide in. The victim card has been permanently declined. You cannot claim to be the persecuted savior of the monarchy when the monarchy is thriving. Unbothered and entirely relieved, you are gone. We rebrand completely. She dictates to the empty room, her voice a metallic, desperate whisper. We ignore the royal family entirely. We focus only on the lifestyle tier. We pretend we never cared about the palace. We must convince them we moved on first, but she is negotiating with ghosts. The leverage is completely gone. The Hollywood executives have fled, horrified by the viral reality check. The entire world has seen the paper tiger retreat into the shadows, completely outmatched by the authentic, unbothered grace of a working royal. Across the ocean, Prince William, the enforcer, stands in the quiet, historic, and absolute authority of the palace. He has made his move by not moving at all. He is cold, he is surgical, he is final. The perimeter is fully and permanently secured. The simulation has violently crashed. The men in gray suits didn't have to launch a counterattack or issue a frantic press release. They simply had to let the Duchess of Edinburgh step up to the microphone and tell the truth. History will remember Meghan and Harry not as the compassionate modernizers who conquered the monarchy, nor as the fearless media moguls who conquered Hollywood. History will remember them as the grifters who walked willingly into their own trap, traded their birthright for a fabricated reality, and lost absolutely everything when the crown simply decided to laugh at them and get back to work. Stay skeptical. And remember, the truth is undefeated.